We're back with season 2. Hooray!
Yes, sir. It's the start of all the off season. This is where we shine. And by shine, I mean
Yeah.
talk endless amounts of crap.
Talk endless amounts of shit about teams who are rebuilding
Hey,
or
but
just
this is our job or
yeah.
our hobby. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, it's a hobby with like 14,000 trades happening today.
Oh yeah, so much happened. I missed all of it because I was working and I go to look and I had like 100 notifications and like 15 of them were from the NHL. I was like, oh,
It's like, oh,
nice.
it's the day before the draft.
Let's have
Yeah.
everything fall apart. I thought the draft's not till July 1st.
No, that's when free agency starts.
Oh,
Yeah. Because the draft is tomorrow, and for those of you
okay.
guys who don't know, the few days before the draft are like the busiest days in hockey, other than like the trade deadline or when free agency starts up for stuff like this, because
Yeah.
like before the draft, like a lot of the times for players, draft picks are involved. So you got to trade those picks before the draft happens because a lot of teams that stocked up on picks at the trade deadline who want to make a move, they got to make them before tomorrow because when tomorrow comes, you can't use those picks anymore. Well, you
Huh.
can. You'll
Well,
just have
yeah.
selected a player instead of trying to
It would just be a
send a
trade.
pick
It
for
would
a
just be a trade
player.
of a player. Yeah.
Yeah. So the draft's tomorrow. So far, not much news has come about, like in terms of ranking players. Like we all know who's going number one. We've known this for like 3 years now. So it's Connor Bedard. We all know this.
Yeah. It's just a matter of when.
It's been a while. For those of you guys who don't know who Connor Bedard is, he is a highly touted prospect. People are comparing him to Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. Um, he is a very gifted goal scorer. He also has the speed to go along with it. Um, really just McDavid archetype player. Now granted, like before he gets picked, like everyone is placing these high expectations on the kid. He's 18 years old. So if he goes out there and produces like a 60, 70 point season, he's still going to be a good player. So,
I think that would be a sign he's going to be a ridiculous player if he were to do that
oh
in his
yeah,
year 18. Because you've
because
seen
like
like
for
because people were expecting like crazy things from like Capo Caco, Byfield, Lafreniere. I mean, think it was.
yeah, Capo Caco and Alexi Lafreniere are yikes.
Byfield's getting better, but
Byfield is getting better.
it's one of those things where like you kind of like even people were expecting crazy things from Shane Wright, and he's played I think 5 games,
Like yeah, 5 games I think, and I think it was
something
the
like
right
that. Yeah.
decision to put him in the OHL to develop
So
again because he needed
they're
it.
not going to rush him. And in
No,
fact, I think honestly, and this is shocking, I think Chicago's taking actually kind of right steps towards getting better
yeah,
next year, which
hold
will
him
be.
out for another year, get the first overall pick again with Taylor Hall, which is a one of the couple of trades. I think that one happened yesterday.
Yes,
Yeah, that was yesterday.
that was one of the two trades I saw.
So
But
yesterday, for context, Boston sent both Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno with no salary retention at all to Chicago for Alec Regula and Ian Mitchell, two prospects that even I haven't really heard of anymore or heard of at all.
so Ian Mitchell, he played at University of Denver, and he's kind of bounced up and down
Yeah.
from Chicago. Most he's played in a season is 39 games, and that shortened season in 2020.
Oh wow.
Um,
I know he
he
has a
plays
0% wins above replacement percentage according to Jay Fresh.
Yeah, he's played a total of 82 games
Oh boy.
in the NHL. So he's 24. Alec Regula is 22. So he's younger,
Yeah.
and he's played about 25 games.
So this is basically a cap dump for Boston and for Chicago to get good center depth and wings for selecting Connor Bedard.
It could also be like young guys to help with the back end. I mean, help with their defense.
Yeah, because Foligno's good defensively, you know,
Yeah,
and Mitchell and Regula might be able to provide some
they'll
depth
provide.
within their
They'll provide some
AHL
good depth.
affiliate. Yeah,
I don't even think with the NHL because let's be honest, with how Dmitry Orlov played, he's gonna get paid a fat bag.
he's gonna probably get 7 million, if not
Uh,
more.
I mean, I guess the question is, would they keep Lindholm and Carlo?
I would keep Orlov over both of them, but I think they're gonna end up keeping Lindholm.
I think that keeping Lindholm's not the wrong decision.
I don't think it is either because Lindholm is a pretty good defenseman. I just think that Dmitry Orlov has more to offer
I agree with that.
just because he's a solid top pairing guy. But the problem is you're not going to be able to afford him with that cap hit that the Bruins have. They might be able to afford him now, but I don't know.
I think Taylor Hall's going to play good in Chicago. Quick question.
I mean, he hasn't been a bad player anywhere he's gone except for Buffalo. So it wouldn't surprise me if he had a good year.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just, I think
If he's
about it
with
when,
Bedard, I think he's going to have a good year. If he's paired with
yeah.
him, I think he's going to have a good year.
I would say, who do you, like, what would that top line be if, because would you really play Bedard top line at 18?
No, I'd put him in like second or third to start. If he's really good, then I move him up.
Mainly because they don't have a lot of
They
good
don't have any
offense in
centers
Chicago. Yeah, let's do a quick search right now while I'm on the Blackhawks. Who are their
because
centers?
Taves is
Taves is
gone.
gone. Athanasiu.
Athanasiu is still there.
Domi got traded.
Yeah.
And then the names after that, Philip Kurashev, Mackenzie Entwistle, Yuhar Kyra.
They've got to make another move, don't they?
They got to get some help at center
Yeah, I was
because
gonna say there's got to be
is
another move in
Athanasiu
play.
still there?
Yeah,
If that's your top center, you're gonna be screwed.
there's got to be another move in play. There's no way there
Who,
isn't.
who would you get? I mean, that's the issue I have. I look at their team and I'm like,
Ryan O'Reilly, maybe.
maybe, but like, just doesn't
Except
feel like a good place.
if I'm them, I just play whoever you got. Maybe you're good. Likely you won't be. Get another potentially generational talent in the next draft to get with Connor Bedard, and you have Kane and Taves all over again. They're set up pretty good. Or if you have more picks and capital, you can trade them for another like top 5 pick. Imagine if they walk out with Bedard and Michkov. Could happen.
The rest of the league rages.
Yeah.
Like
Because
we did when they got the number 1 pick. Or at least
yeah,
I did.
I did too. I did too. But
But
there's nothing you can do. It's a lottery. But
we love the air quotes.
but with the Blackhawks, like they have a lot of ways they can go with this. Like they can start trying to win now. They can start tinkering with things a little bit. See where it goes. I think their best course of action is just to kind of sit back and not be as great this year again and try to get another good player next year.
Let's see, and maybe who knows, you could defy expectations the same way like
Yeah.
like the Sens and like teams like the Sens and Sabres kind of did this last season.
Yeah.
And even Seattle in a way. Like if
Oh,
you're like
Seattle defied every expectation.
You're like one of those 3 teams where you can just like have a good season despite, all that stuff. It would mean a lot.
Yeah. Like I think the Blackhawks are going to be decent. Do I think they're going to be like playoff team? No, I think they're still going to be in like the bottom of the league, but not like dead last. I think they'll be like
As long as they're not in like a situation like like the Canucks were, or like the Sharks or Ducks or Coyotes or even the Habs. The Habs have kind of been stuck spinning in a hamster wheel, not going anywhere. A lot of it via bad luck, but some point something's got to change. But it's like if they
Yeah.
can get something going with like I said, bringing guys like Hall and Foligno are a right step. I would say the next step would be get some form of goalie help, any form of goalie help,
What do
someone who
you
can stop a
mean?
shot, not named garbage can. I mean Peter Mrazek.
Anton Qdovin with the worst goal I've ever seen. We keep bringing it up. We keep bringing
I'm
up that
telling
one
you,
goal.
people, look it up.
We've
It's
had
really bad. Their number one goalie is Alex Daylock.
uh, we've had 12 episodes so far, and I think in 10 of them we've referenced the
7, I think.
the Qdovin goal.
It's 7, but yeah.
It's so bad. It's so
It's
bad.
just they need a lot of help because I look at this team and like you want to know how I know that they're still like a long way from me believing they're getting it anywhere out of the basement.
How?
Last season, Jack Johnson was their third defenseman. Jack Johnson.
I think they should get Justin Hall. I think that'll bolster their defense.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Justin Hall for
Mhm.
$13.5 million. What? It's to
Someone
match
pays him
Seth
6 million
Jones
a year.
forever. To match Seth Jones forever contract.
Someone pays him 6 by 6.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! There's no way anyone pays him
No,
six
I
by
was
six
joking,
unless
but
it's the Penguins. But you know,
but yeah, no, for a first trade, I'd say I don't hate it on both ends. I think
I
that
don't either.
Austin wants to get younger. I like, especially, I really think Regula could be really good for them next
Yeah, me
season.
too. I think Boston's preparing to extend someone that they want to, like possibly bringing Bergeron back if he ever plays again. Maybe Krejci. Who knows?
Yeah, so for a
I know they
first
use the
thing,
cap space to re-sign Allmark.
which was a good decision.
Yeah,
Well, man won the Vesna.
that makes it worth it on its own.
I mean, I feel like you kind of have to keep someone who's a Vesna winner.
Unless it's Marc-Andre Fleury and Vegas goes, we don't want you anymore. Go away. And then they win a cup two
Fall
years
on the
later.
sword.
Yeah, Alan Walsh sword with DeBoer on it. God,
Oh
that
my
was like
god.
3 years ago. Oh my God.
Yo, I like a lot of the. Yo, we able to talk about some of their awards they got.
Yeah, let's talk about the
I
NHL
actually
awards.
liked a decent amount of them, save for one.
Yeah.
Um,
Which one didn't you like?
you know which one I don't like.
Is it the Jim Montgomery one?
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute. But I mean,
Okay.
the obvious one is that David won the MVP, the Rocket, the Ted Lindsay, and Art Ross. He won four.
You
Four.
mean all of the awards? He won all of them? Well, he won all of them
Bruh.
except the big one, the Stanley Cup. He
Oh,
didn't win.
woo!
He didn't win. He
Woo!
won
That went right
all
over
of the
my head.
ones. He won all of the ones except the ones you want to win.
That man, he put up a season that was not human.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
The
he
last
he
person to do it
deserves all
was
those awards.
he put up a 150-point season for the first time since I don't know, Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, that's a pretty good name to fall behind.
Only
I'd
one of the
like to
best players of all
say
time.
I am an expert in this sport, and I'd say it's a pretty good name
Yeah,
to fall behind. Mario Lemieux is a pretty decent name to fall behind.
yeah, only one of the best players ever.
Yeah, probably the second best player of all time.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna go right past it because everybody knows how much like McDavid has just been
Yeah,
ridiculous,
like he
stupid,
had
alien, like NHL like controller.
there's such a huge gap between him and the second best player in the NHL. Like
What would that be
that
like a
gap
trash?
is
Like
and his the second best player right now is on his own team.
oh, you tries.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like
Oof.
it's crazy.
But yeah, next one. I was surprised he got it, by the way, considering how bad the Sharks were.
You mean, well, I think he had like a minus 16 or something that was a minus 16 or minus 26.
Yeah. I think what also helped was that a lot of the big defenders either regressed or just didn't like missed time with injury.
Yeah.
So I think it made up for like the minus because like well the person who won it was Eric Carlson for the Sharks. And I get shocked because Makar was injured.
Yeah.
Hedman had a down year. Roman Yossi had a down year. Carlson was bad and injured.
Yeah. But
Uh,
also, let's not forget that Eric Carlson had a 100-point season, something that hasn't happened in a long time as a defenseman.
really,
Those numbers are still stupid. Yeah, he had 100 points this year.
what's the last
Like,
defenseman to do it?
oh, it was a long
Let me
time
look it
ago. It
up.
might have been Chris Chelios.
Last defenseman with 100 points. That, if you pulled that out, that would be
There's no
crazy.
way. I don't think it was Chelios.
No. Uh, who was with the Rangers? Brian Leach. Oh, Brian Leach.
Oh,
In the
yeah. Leafs
1991,
legend.
1990. It's been 30 years.
Wow.
102 points with the Rangers.
Yeah. So
What?
Carlson had 100 points for the first time in
Wild.
30 years. So, like, to me, he deserved it. I mean, I've seen people online point out his minus 26 statistic, but he played for San Jose, who had like no goaltending.
No,
So, I
and
mean,
just also awful defense.
yeah, like you can point that out all you want, but like it's not his fault he played on a bad team. Like he was like the one bright spot to the Sharks all season. Like they
They
just
probably
didn't
would have
have
been
any
one of the worst teams
goaltending.
in the league without him.
Yeah, they easily would have finished last place. Like I don't
So,
even think it's a question that they would have finished last. Like it was that bad.
like, I'm pretty sure they were still playing Mark Edward Vlasic for games.
I think so. And to me, like there's been a lot of trade talk with Eric Carlson.
It
In
just
my
stalled out because of
opinion,
his price.
yeah. And in my opinion, if I'm the Sharks, like his value is up the highest it'll ever be. You need to get
It'll
rid of
never go
him.
higher. It'll
Like yeah,
never go
you need to
higher.
get rid of him.
It'll never go higher, and you're not getting out of the basement right now or anytime soon. And like I said, if you're the Sharks,
Yeah.
the smartest thing you could do, trade him, trade either Hurdle or Couture. You got to trade one of those two.
Start the rebuild. Unless you get Matvey Michkov, then don't listen to me.
No, they're not gonna get it. They're gonna go. They have to go. Just they're gonna go kicking and screaming into a rebuild that they've desperately needed since
Yeah.
all. I'm Doug Wilson. I'm gonna give an 8-year contract to somebody. But I mean, his
$88
heart was in
million
the right
to Eric
place.
Carlson. Yeah.
His heart was in the right place. It just didn't work at all. But
Yeah.
but no credit to Carlson because like on a terrible team to
Yeah.
pull off that kind of season. Like imagine if he was on like the Sens, the Sabres, the Caps, the those
Imagine if he was on
Kraken,
like
the
any
Oilers,
like
the
any
Oilers. Imagine
solid
on the
team.
Oilers power play with him.
That's where I think he's gonna
Oh my
go.
God! Like imagine him with like the unit draft. Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna be another 100-point defenseman for the next 3 years if he
Yep.
goes there.
Oh yeah. No, without question.
Yeah.
Uh, doing a rookie of the year or Masterton.
Let's go rookie of the year, considering that's your boy.
Yes, sir. Beniers.
Matty
Oh my
Beniers, the
goodness.
Kraken, in my opinion, their best player this year.
I wouldn't go that far, but I
I
definitely would say
might.
top three.
I might because I noticed in the playoffs, in games he was in, he was significantly more of an X factor than anyone on that team.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, like the sense of the game
He
changed
got
when he was on the ice.
he got better when the playoffs hit.
Yeah,
If we were talking like the whole season though, I'd say he was top three because without McCann's like 40-goal season
40 goal a
and
year.
Everly having a massive bounce back season, we wouldn't
Yeah,
have been in the place we were because he stepped up when Burakovsky got injured.
yeah, that's very true.
So, but that's what's crazy about it. He won the rookie of the year, and he was like probably our best. He was easily our best playoff performer without question.
Oh yeah,
Actually, second, Everly. Everly was no one. Everly was
yeah.
one. Everly was stupid good in
Grubauer,
the playoffs.
Grubauer, your favorite.
I mean, save for
He
game
was good.
seven, he was good. Save for
Yeah,
game
he was
seven, he was
good.
good. Game seven broke my heart, but
Yeah.
like the
Oh,
crazy thing
it's your
about it
first
is
time.
the
Yeah.
crazy thing about this is one, I look at the date and he's younger than me. Yeah,
Matt
it's so
Beniers is
weird.
younger. How old is
He's
he?
20.
Oh,
November 5th,
I'm.
2002.
Hey,
A
that's my
little a little
sister's
around a year
birthday.
from me. A little
My
around from a
sister's
year from
birthday.
me. Oh, nice. He's
Yeah.
20 though. That's what's great. He's
Yeah.
20.
He's
And
2 years
for
younger than me.
that's insane, bro. That's crazy to think about. That's insane. He put up a 57-point season in his first full season.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I think he's only gonna get better. That's what's
Oh,
scary
he
about that.
is. And you guys will have
So
Shane Wright next year, likely.
Anti
So,
Cartier.
oh my gosh. And your
He was a stud in the playoffs.
AHL team made it to the Color Cup final in game 7, but
There. I know. We
yeah, they
don't we
choked
don't
the
talk about
2-0
game seven.
lead.
But uh, second year though, to make a Calder Cup final, that means
It's
we
pretty
have
good.
so much talent on the team. Like Colvin
Yeah.
next season. Um, I'm so hyped
You
for what
guys
spring next year to bring in.
you guys got a good blueprint. Wouldn't surprise me
Oh,
if you ended up like
really?
Vegas.
Uh, so well,
Because I
I
think
hope
you
for a
guys
cup.
have
I
a
hope for
chance
not
to.
the
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I think you
craziest
guys
thing
have a
ever.
chance to. You just got to make some moves to get some better scoring depth, in my opinion. Well, I mean,
We'll
you
see.
guys need like a flat out like star. If Beniers isn't it, I think he will be. But if he doesn't, like, I think he's still a good complementary piece.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I
I
don't
think
know. I
McCann
think
might
Seattle
be
will be
that
good.
for us, but we'll
Yeah.
see. But now let's get. I think to my favorite award of the bunch,
Oh yeah.
the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy.
Yeah, and to me, it's no surprise. Like Chris Letang this year had a really, really tough year. His
The
father
3-9.
passed away.
Yeah,
He had
he
a
had a second
stroke this
stroke.
year again.
Yeah,
Like,
it's wild because the other two nominees I still rooted for as well, but like because it was Letang, Alex Stalock, who
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, the career he's had with all the stuff he had, and he had to endure Chicago, and he put up a
yeah,
good season. I think
yeah, he
Keller,
did.
who's basically been
Yeah,
the one person who stayed through that turmoil in it, like all the crap that has gone on through Arizona. He's been the one person who's been able to stay strong through that.
yeah,
But no, Letang 100% deserved it. The amount of crap, like mentally, he had to go through this
yeah.
season.
Just his personal life, like that. I remember sitting in Duquesne's cafeteria and seeing the message that came up saying Chris Letang had a second stroke. Like to me, when I read that message go across my screen, I'm like, there's no way he plays again. Like he's done.
That's
There's
what I thought. I
no
was like, there's
way.
no way he could play again after that, right?
Yeah.
But like to be able to do that, it just shows like how much the game means to him, and B how much to me I like it because it's like he values not as much like the game, but he values doing the things he loves and not letting
Yeah.
really bad and scary things kind of like push him away from doing something that means a lot to him.
Yeah. And especially with this, like his like really, I think the main motivating factor, and I've seen him say this before, was like the main thing was he wanted his son to remember watching him play because he has a young kid right now.
Oh,
But it's just one of those things where like the guy's a warrior. Like he's played through so much. It's a second stroke. Like it's
it's
I still
crazy.
can't believe he came back. I can't believe like even though he had a down relatively mediocre season for his standards, like really most of the Penguins did, but Chris Letang playing through a second stroke, like I don't know how he did it. Like it's
He's
just
still the
crazy
heart
to
and soul
me.
of that defense.
Oh yeah, and it's bar none. Like he's the best defenseman on that team, and it's not even close. He was sorely missed in the games that he wasn't there in. Like
Hmm.
just a warrior. I don't know what else to say. Like they literally had to keep him off the ice in the 2017 Stanley Cup playoffs, and like he wanted to play through like a completely broken shoulder, which is just crazy. Like
That is crazy.
my memories of Chris Letang are always going to be like he was a very tough, very good human being, and just from everything I've heard, from everything I've experienced, like he puts everyone else before himself. Like, it's one of those awards that it's been deserved for a long time. Like, I wish it didn't take a stroke for him to get the recognition he's deserved, because he's been a very underrated guy his whole career. But
We're
just
losing
big
his dad.
congratulations. The only thing I'm like, just take care of your health. Like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But still, very well deserved award.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Stuff like that makes hockey, like I said, a beautiful game.
Oh yeah, like it's one of those things where like there are so many guys that push through so much to really to a fault. Like, I've talked about it before on the show, where like the players need to prioritize their health. The NHL needs to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
Um, but in this instance, a trainer saw that he was having symptoms, got him to medical care in time, and possibly saved his life and saved his career. So, I
Credit
mean,
to
big
Pittsburgh
props to
staff.
them. Big props to him. Like, very well deserved award, if I do say so myself.
Unlike the next one.
Yeah, I have mixed
You
feelings
wanna
on
you
this
wanna
next
you
one.
wanna you wanna prove that that award's a joke? You wanna
John
prove like
Tortorella's won it twice. I mean, sorry.
most yeah, you're not wrong, but
Weren't expecting that answer.
no, I was not actually. I was thinking some other, but
Damn, Bilesma's won it before.
damn, I swear
Mike Sullivan hasn't.
Dave Talon win one. Or no, Gerard Gallant won a few, and then he got
Gerard
fired
Gallant
like the
won
next year,
one.
and he got
Yeah.
fired the next year. Um, yeah, no. So for anybody wondering, Jim Montgomery for the Bruins won it. Now I know he's gone through a lot as a person. I understand all that stuff. I know what Boston did this year in the regular season. Y'all not watch the playoffs?
Yeah.
Does that just not matter?
To me, like,
Are you
I'm
kidding me?
these awards, especially for these, are very much regular season oriented. If it were me, it would have gone to Bruce Cassidy 100%. The thing I will say though is like Jim Montgomery's speech was very, very good. I will give him that. Um, just if I were giving these awards out, like, to me, I would wait, especially for Coach of the Year or GM of the Year. I would wait to see how the playoffs go,
The
because
Stanley
you really
Cup's
don't
decided.
know. Yeah, because like you really don't know. A large portion of being a coach is coaching during the playoffs, because that's where your team faces the most adversity. And unfortunately, with the Bruins, like when that adversity came, they didn't cope with it well, because it was really the only adversity they felt all season.
Yeah, and I think that's why because I feel like Beniers pretty much won his rookie of the year through the playoffs.
Yeah, and he had a really good
He had a
season as a
solid regular
rookie as
season,
well. Yeah,
but I felt like that was like basically decided for him when he won. Whereas like
yeah.
where you see a lot of different coaches kind of get their boost, you could have argued that Peter DeBoer could have won one. Like
Oh
Bruce
God,
Cassidy,
DeBoer.
100% should have won one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know it sounds shocking, but I think he could have won one. I
he's
honestly think the
DeBoer.
Sabres could have won one with how
Yeah,
little
I
they
think Lindy
changed. Like
Ruff could have won it too
Lindy
with the
Ruff should have
Devils.
had a chance,
Yeah,
you
just to
know?
me, this award doesn't really mean a whole lot, because like
No.
there are so many good coaches that haven't won it yet when they very deserve to. Like, there are some seasons where Mike Sullivan has risen the Penguins back from the dead, and he's never won the Coach of the Year before. Like, I don't get it.
I want to
Like, I
do a
get they had
quick
a
search.
65 win season, but at the same time, like, I would put a lot of stock into the playoffs, but that's just me. The
You would
sports
think
writers feel differently, but
I'm looking up something for the Jack Adams Award. I want to look at the last few years.
yeah. I know it's a pretty
20,
decorated list.
2021, Daryl Sutter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for a Flames team that choked got spanked against the Oilers. Rob Moore against the Carolina Hurricanes the year before
Deserved.
that. Deserved, I will say that. Bruce Cassidy,
Also
I forget which
deserved.
year that was, 2020. Barry Trotz,
Also
understandable.
deserved.
Gerard Gallant, he got fired the very next year. after
That's
that
Vegas
with
being
Vegas.
Vegas.
Barry Trotz, and then he left immediately after the game in the
Deserved.
Capitals, but deserved. Patrick Waugh with the freaking Avs in 2013, 2014. Bob Hartley for the Calgary Flames in 14-15.
Wow. That's a
John
name I haven't heard in
Tortorella
a
in
long time.
16-17.
Yeah, the fact that John Tortorella won the Jack Adams in 2016-17 and Mike Sullivan didn't is a joke.
Dan Bilesman 2010,
That
2011.
is the biggest joke of them all.
Good old
Sheldon Keefe winning the Jack Adams in 23-24.
Tortorella. Yeah, you were all right. You won it
Yeah,
twice.
because that
You won it
news
with the
came out.
Lightning.
Because that news came out yesterday that Sheldon Keefe is staying.
Really?
John Cooper deserves it, though. I will say that. And yes, Sheldon Keefe is staying with the Leafs next year or this upcoming season.
We can
So
laugh
that
about that a
means we are
minute.
going to beat the Lightning again and lose in the second round to the 8th seed, whoever that is, and enjoy a free walk to the Stanley Cup final. Have fun.
And then lose.
And then lose. And then it makes
Bad.
me feel slightly better, but then dead and cold inside because we still lost.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do we want to go to I think we got to go to another trade, a funnier trade.
Yeah, let's go for the trades. Let's start with the trades.
Let's do the LOL trade.
Which
the
which
LOL
one is
trade.
the LOL trade? Is it the LA one?
No.
Which one's the LOL
Nashville
trade?
one.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about it for a minute because this
Jesus
might be one of
Christ.
the dumbest
It
decisions.
makes no sense.
Mind you, this is one of the first moves Barry Trotz made as GM.
Yeah, hopefully this isn't a
Sign of things to come.
sign of things to come because oh god.
So for reference, people, Ryan Johansson has been traded to Colorado. What did Colorado send to them? Prospect? No, Alex motherfucking Galchenyuk.
Who was terrible again this year. I don't know how he's still in the league.
I don't even think he is.
I mean, he played in the AHL for a little bit, So Colorado sent Galchenyuk, and Nashville is retaining half of Johansson's salary.
They're keeping half his salary.
Yeah. Because I thought
that
Galchenyuk was sent as like a future considerations thing.
That has to be a sign they're blowing it up. That has to be.
There's no way they're not.
If it's not, that's one of the stupidest moves I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just for reference, Galchenyuk played 42 games with the Colorado Eagles, average a point a game. Played 11 games in the NHL. What do you think he had?
4 points.
0. Nashville, your problem is offense, right?
No.
And not being able to score.
It's UC Saros not saving 80 pucks a game.
Yeah, it's not
That's the fucking problem.
So you say Saros not having a 950 save percentage.
Yeah, that's the problem. They really traded for a guy with no points.
Yes.
Oh my.
The last time he had a double-digit goal season was 2018 with the fucking Coyotes.
Oh my god.
You want to know how many teams he's been on since that season with the Coyotes?
Like 5, right?
6.
Oh my god.
The Penguins, the Wilds, the Senators, the Maple Leafs, the Coyotes, the fucking Avalanche.
Wasn't he on the Canes too?
No.
I thought he was.
If he was, it was like the practice squad or something. Or like
he was on the taxi squad. He was on the taxi squad for the Canes in 2021.
But he never played a game with them.
So he was traded to the Canes, and
it was either that or he was traded and immediately got traded after.
So he went to the Canes, was claimed off waivers by the Sens, and then traded to the Leafs. I think that's how that turn of events happened.
No, I think you're right because the Sens and Leafs were both 2021.
My God.
That's so.
And Johansson's not
It
a
was just
bad
a
player.
1-for-1 swap, was it?
Yeah, it was 1-for-1.
I mean, Johansson was playing like trash this season. I get it, and his
Yeah,
contract
but
is bad, but like
he's better than Galchenyuk.
they didn't even get a prospect. That's what just blows my mind.
Nope, they
That's
didn't
why it's
even get
hard
a
for me to
second.
believe this like they're blowing it up because it's like
I might have
they didn't
rathered a
get a
second round
prospect,
pick.
they didn't get a pick.
Yeah.
They got a guy who hasn't had a double-digit goal season since
Yeah.
2018.
Especially with
Hasn't had
how
a
deep
20
this
season
draft
since
is.
2015.
Oh my god. With it, and especially with how deep this draft is, you mean to tell me if they get sent a second round pick that they wouldn't been able to find a 10 goal scorer?
You would think.
Like that's where my problem with this trade is. Like I'd rather the pick, honestly.
What?
I'd rather the pick. I'm not gonna lie
Even
to
a
you.
day 3 pick you could find some value with.
Yeah. And they have to retain half his salary, so it's not even all that great because you're still paying a lot of money for a guy
I'm
not to
pretty
play
sure
for
Ryan
you.
Johansson's contract's like 5 or 6 million as well.
Yeah. So you're basically paying Alex Galchenyuk to put up no points for the same amount or for an amount that Johansson would have costed you.
Watch us talk all this crap and Galchenyuk puts up like a 25 full goal season.
Yeah. He's gonna put up a 30 goal season. He's gonna captain the Nashville Predators to a three-peat Stanley Cup championship and gonna make us all look stupid.
Would be. But no.
All right, are you ready for the trade of the day? Apparently,
Think so.
so the Los Angeles Kings acquired noted Montreal Canadiens fan Pierre-Luc Dubois in exchange
That's
for a
weird.
2024 second round pick, Rasmus Kupari, Alex Iafallo, and Gabriel Velarde. It's also
Velarde
important to
and
note,
Iafallo got traded.
yeah,
What?
it's also important to note that Pierre-Luc Dubois inked an 8-year, $8.5 million contract with the Kings as well.
No.
Yep. Yep.
This is
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. 8-year, $8.5 million. He wanted 9. And like to me, I don't like this trade for Los Angeles because you give up 3 pretty decent players for
Kupari, I think you'd be
a
fine letting
25-year-old.
go. Him and Velarde, I think, are fine letting go.
I'd be fine
Follows the
letting
one that
go.
shocks me.
Yeah, it does. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois' highest goal total was 28. He put up 27 last year as well, but
He's not a bad player. He's a good player.
he's a decent player, but I don't think he's 3 players and a draft pick of worth for
I
a
know,
mid
yeah.
20s goal scorer.
Mind you, 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5 million. Sidney Crosby
Maybe.
makes 200,000 more than that for reference.
I'm pretty sure that's around the money Draisaitl's making.
Yes.
LA, what the fuck?
I don't get it. I
The
really
boys
don't. I
club is
saw
back.
that
What the is that?
because like you lose a significant amount of speed. Like you better hope PLD turns it on more than he has. Like just to me, I I have a lot of trouble with Pierre-Luc Dubois because everywhere he's
He's run
gone,
himself out of both places, Winnipeg and
yeah,
Columbus.
he's requested a trade out of both
Listen, I
organizations,
understand the
and
Columbus one because that was when Tortorella was still there, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure, right? And
yeah,
that's fine. I understand that one. The way he handled himself in freaking uh Winnipeg, he handled himself like an idiot there personally.
yeah.
And just that's I don't know.
I
I
just
guess
don't get it.
Velarde shocks me. I guess because him and a follow put up a solid like 15 goal season. Velarde put up a 23 goal season. Velarde last season put up a
Oh,
23 goal season.
they might regret Gabriel Velarde. Like, I know he's taken a while, but to me, he screams late bloomer Joe Pavelski type player.
And I think he could only get better with like his passing ability as well.
Yeah, and that was the thing that a lot of teams were big on about Velarde, was just his passing ability was really, really good. So
If he's scoring at a 20-30 goal rate, I I don't know. Especially because that's almost the same player
yeah,
you're getting slightly better offensive production from a guy like Dubois.
yeah.
And here's the thing, I understand the biggest issue is that they didn't really have a guy last season that really elevated their offense. Save like I said, they had Kopitar and they had Kevin Fiala. Those two players, I definitely think helped them take a big step in the right direction. But like, how much is this gonna help them versus like, using guys like Lizolet and Byfield and Trevor Moore? I just
To
I don't know.
me, this screams Anjay Kopitar replacement for when he
That would be
retires.
so stupid.
It screams Anjay Kopitar replacement.
It feels so dumb if that's the case, though.
Yeah, they're
8
similar
by
type
eight and a
players.
half.
Yeah, they're very similar type players. It screams Anjay Kopitar to me.
I
I think
guess
that's where
so.
they're going with it.
Mm. Mm.
And I was fully expecting Montreal, but after this return, I'm like, now I know why Montreal wasn't pursuing him as much as he'd wanted them to.
Apparently not.
I wouldn't have given that up, because that screams to me like Winnipeg wanted like a Cole Caulfield or a Nick Suzuki type thing for Pierre-Luc Dubois. And I'm like, Dubois like isn't as good as either of those two, and they didn't want to give him up. And the
And credit to
highest paid
Montreal for not drinking
player,
this stupid juice.
yeah, and the highest paid player on the Canadians that makes like 7.8 million. So like I wouldn't pay Pierre-Luc Dubois more than
No.
Suzuki.
Yeah. And Suzuki, I think, really likes Cole Caulfield well. I think they're like good friends
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, they are.
So I don't think it would make any sense for Montreal trading those two.
And the first piece to fall down for Winnipeg, like that's a pretty good trade. Like I'd get on working the phones for Shifley or Hallebuck, like maybe before the
Both.
draft tomorrow. We'll see.
Well, Halbeck, I say no. Shifley, yes.
Shifley, I shop now. There's going to be
Shifley,
a
you
team that
have to
wants
shop.
him.
Shifley, you
Yeah.
have to. Vegas calls on the phone. Of course they would probably. Wouldn't
Vegas for
shock me.
Shifley, yeah. Blake Wheeler is a guy I could see them shipping out to.
Uh,
Shifley might be a deadline piece though.
maybe. That's an interesting one. I did not know it was that much. Like they gave up that much,
Yeah.
and then said, "All
And
right, we're
paid him
gonna
$8.5 million.
like instantly."
Yep.
That's the number one thing I never understand when I watch trades from any sport. You make a big trade for a guy who's solid but not like game changing, and then you ink that player to a long term deal. I get the big thing. You don't want to like trade a bunch and then not keep
Yeah.
the guy. You're locking him down till he's 33.
Yes.
This
Nothing to
screams
this
high risk, high
deal.
reward. I understand the situation
Yeah.
the Kings are in.
To
This
me, the Kings needed speed to combat their previous two first round opponents in the Edmonton Oilers, and they just didn't get that.
my worry is when I look at a trade like this, this looks like them trying to do the same thing Florida did.
Yeah. And
Gamble
yeah.
on Matthew Tkachuk.
I rescind
Deal.
my Los Angeles Kings winning the Stanley Cup prediction now from last episode. I rescind that. Fucking hell, that age like I'm just gonna stop.
Tastes
Okay,
like spoiled milk.
I'm going to predict the next Stanley Cup
The
champion
Blue Jacket.
in the Boston Bruins or the
Oh,
Washington Capitals, because I don't
God,
like
no.
either of you.
No, it's not the Cavs, but
The
that's
Leafs curse stems so much to where
bro.
even teams
What
I predict to
the
win are going to
hell?
lose.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
we're gonna pay attention to
like
that. Well,
the curse
things will
is
be
potent. It is potent.
it'll never die.
It'll never
Anyways,
die. And now we
Oh,
can get to there's another trade that we haven't mentioned yet with New Jersey. And there are two things about New Jersey.
yes,
New
sir.
Jersey
Talk
did
about
good
it.
today. So yesterday, New Jersey re-signed Eric Holla to a 3-year deal, which to me was a pretty good move. Very speedy oriented player. Very decent all around player. Good for your middle six. I think he's going to provide a lot of nice depth for the Devils, which to me was the main reason why they weren't able to keep up with the Hurricanes. Uh, and then they also got another pretty big scorer in Tyler Toffoli, and they traded with the Calgary Flames, and the Flames got Yegor Sharangovich, which is a pretty good player, and 80th overall in this year's draft. I'd say fairly decent value. Sharangovich is a good young player. I think he needed a change of scenery. Tyler Toffoli is Tyler Toffoli. Like, you know what you're getting. A
A
pretty
very
good
good
player.
player.
Ceiling of 30 goals, basement of 15. Like, he's a pretty good guy. He's a pretty good player.
And the thing is, he's going into a situation in which also they re-signed Eric Holla, which I think was a solid move.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Which
did.
last season, like you got, say for like the big season he had with Vegas, he put up like a usual season with him, 15 goals, 40 points,
Not bad.
solid contributor. And a guy like
Yeah.
Toffoli is just going to make their offense even better.
Yeah.
You like if you're a Devils fan, you're watching how they're handling the off season right now. You got to be feeling pretty optimistic for next year.
Oh yeah. Like I 100% agree. Especially with like the Devils with their forward depth now, it's like they have Jack Hughes, Nico
You
Heischer,
sure?
Tyler Toffoli, Jesper Bratt. Like they have a ton of guys. I know I'm forgetting a bunch, but I just know they have so much depth on them.
Miles Wood.
Miles Wood.
You have solid
Like
player
I'll have
Mike
to look.
McLeod. Thomas Tatar had a bounce back season.
Yeah, he did. They have Dougie Hamilton too.
Dawson Mercer is ridiculously good.
They have Timo Meyer too.
Oh yeah,
Like they have so many good players. It's crazy.
forgot that team of mine.
To
Andre Palat.
me, and Luke Hughes is coming up with them.
Really?
Yeah. To me, I would just look at their goaltending situation, but other than that, like goddamn.
Yeah, and if you get something decent out of Kira Schmidt, then you're just asking either Blackwood or Vanacek to just be passable,
Yeah.
which I feel like you
Like
will get. You'll get something from one of those two, if not both.
that's a pretty good looking team.
It's a
That's a pretty
scary
good
team,
looking team.
and honestly, they made
They
their
might
defense
fuck
better
around
by
and win the
trading.
Metro.
They made their defense, I think, better with trading Damon Severson away.
Yeah, you and me both, because they're basically gonna replace his spot with Luke Hughes.
Mind you, they
Yeah.
also have John Marino
Yeah.
uh and Dougie and Ryan Graves, who are all solid.
God damn, that is a
Like
good
they
team.
definitely made their defense better.
That is a good team.
Think about
That's
a
a
few years
really
back,
good
they had
team.
Damon Severson and Sammy Vatanen as their big defenders.
Oh my god. They're gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a
Yeah, so
problem.
they're making all the right moves.
Yeah,
And
they're gonna be a problem.
then we also saw some shocking news. We talked about it vaguely. It was about the Sens.
Yeah, this was kind of a weird one. DeBrinket, from what I've seen on Twitter from Elliot Friedman, like DeBrinket wants out of Ottawa, and it's kind of a weird deal. I mean, he's an RFA right now, so like it is probably going to be a sign and trade type thing. His preference is to play in the States. So it's really a weird thing. I just
It
think
might have
it's
just
more
been
of
he
a
had a bad
system.
experience.
Yeah, it's more of a systems thing. Like he wouldn't mind going somewhere in Canada, but he wouldn't want to sign long term. which I think is going to turn a lot of teams off. I think he's going to go to the States somewhere. I just don't know where. There have been a couple of discussions, like maybe going to Calgary for one of their guys that wants out, so like a Hannafin type deal or a Elias Lindholm type deal.
So everybody in Calgary.
Yeah, I could see him going to Calgary for like Elias Lindholm, maybe Noah Hannafin, and him signing like a 3-year deal with Calgary for pretty big money.
Yeah, I guess yeah, I know the team probably didn't. He didn't click great with how he was playing,
No, he
given the fact
didn't.
he had a bit of a down year with his production, but like it didn't seem like there was any discontent. So maybe I think it's just I don't think it's as much the team. I think it's just one of those things where he's just not happy there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it could be a systems type thing, it could be coaching, like who knows? It's one
It
of
could
those
just
things
be
where
where
like
he's
he's just
at,
not happy. Yeah.
like just the area itself, like not this is Ottawa. It's just like it just
Yeah.
could be like a personal experience, like certain places just you know
You don't really
don't
connect
make you
with.
no.
Yeah.
So
Like
just
who
I think
who
it just
knows?
could be something like that.
Yeah. I think
So
it's likely like a systems thing or just
yeah,
things didn't really work out in Ottawa. Um I think he goes somewhere in the States.
if I were to guess, I'll take a swing at it. Blues.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. They need a little bit more scoring. Um
I'd say
Speaking of the
Blues or
Blues,
Wings. Blues or Red
yeah,
Wings. I'm guessing those are the two places. I'm guessing.
Red Wings are a good choice too. But speaking of the Blues, they also made a move today. The Flyers sent Kevin Hayes to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Flyers retain half of Kevin Hayes' salary. Um, go ahead and say what you want to say.
Nah, give me a second here.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think the Flyers ended up winning this trade because Kevin Hayes didn't really play all that great for them last season. Uh, he's had a rough go of it for the last couple of years. Granted, like stuff in his personal life has been great too. Like his brother passed away last year.
No,
Kevin Hayes is not a bad human being. It's
no.
just one of those
We don't
things
diss
where
on the
like,
players. Like
yeah,
it's not us dissing on the players. It's more the
yeah,
organizations for making horrible decisions. That's always
yeah,
something at the top, like the big preference. I think is like important to state in these videos. It's in videos,
yeah,
audio, all this stuff. We're not dissing the players. Like they are
yeah,
making life changing decisions for them, their families, you know, their future families. So it's not us. We're not going after those players.
yeah,
It's the organizations for making those decisions.
yeah.
There's a big difference there. That being said, woof, this fucking deal.
Yeah, and like the Flyers had to get out of another Chuck Fletcher mistake. So to me, that's why I think the Flyers end up winning the deal. Like they've been having a pretty good offseason,
They're getting
clearing
out
up
of it.
that cap space, getting out
And I
of
hear
all of Chuck Fletcher's mistakes.
that's a lot for the Blues to take on for a guy who's
Yeah,
been
mediocre at best.
let's do a search. I know this last year too has been kind of rough for him, but like
His
let's
first year with the Flyers was pretty good. It's just after that it just tanked.
you
I know he had a
signed a
rift with John
guy.
Tortorella.
You and this is the bit like I said, this is another statement of why Chuck Fletcher was terrible at his job. They signed the highest goal total he ever had was with the Rangers in 2017. It was 25. All right.
Yeah,
They paid this man a 7x7.
yeah, that's Chuck Fletcher.
Oh my god, this is Mike Milbury type stupidity.
Yeah, but they
Bro,
were smart and got out of it.
yeah, but that's what I don't understand. Bro, the Blues are taking 3.5 million of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
I guess the only thing I can think of is this. They're not expecting to be that good next year.
No,
I don't think they think they're going to be garbage.
but they're not going to be great.
They're not going to be great.
And they only gave up a 6th-round pick for it. To me, what hurts is just the cap hit. I mean, sure, the Flyers have to retain 3.5 million of it, but they can
The
use
Blues are
that cap
willingly
space to
taking
build
half
a
that
team.
salary.
Yeah. And like 3.5 million isn't terrible for a 54-point player, but he's had some injury problems in the past.
Here's what's
He
so funny.
struggled a lot. I mean, we'll see where it goes. In my opinion, though, I think the Flyers won the trade. Like they've been having a pretty good offseason, getting out from under mistakes. I think that's
Yeah.
been like the key emphasis that Daniel Briere has had in his tenure so far. He just wants to undo the mistakes and go into a rebuild. And I think that's what they should do. It's long overdue. They should have
But
done it
here's the
like
issue I
5 years
have.
ago.
Yeah, here's the big issue I have with the Kevin Hayes play. It's nothing with the Flyers. I think the Flyers made the right decision.
Yeah.
And eating the cap, you're gonna have to. They made that mistake. They
Yeah.
gotta lay in that bed. Here's my issue. They don't have a team that strikes me as gonna be garbage. All right. But here's my issue. Taking that Kevin Hayes contract, taking 3.5 million for the next 3 seasons. Next for this offseason, the Blues have 4 million in cap. That's it.
They only have 4 million in cap space.
Yes. Because
Oh,
they gave 3 years, or they gave a year to Kasperi Kapanen
yeah.
for
Not
3
surprised.
million,
Not
an extra year
surprised.
for Jake Yakovrana.
Good pickup.
But yeah, I think a solid pickup. And then Bruce Navis is getting 6 million. Braden Shen's getting 6.5 million for 5 years. And then Robert
Damn.
Thomas and Jordan Kyrou are each getting 8 million a year for like 8 years.
Oh,
And then not to mention the defense, Colin Parayko is getting 6.5 million for I think 6 years.
they should have traded him to Montreal because they wanted him.
And Torrey Krug and Justin Falk are also getting paid 6.5 million.
Torrey Krug was almost sent to Philadelphia. I wouldn't be surprised if that deal comes up again within the next couple of days. I saw
It
something that
could
Torrey
be.
Krug was on his way to Philly, but
And
the
Nick
no
Leddy's
move
got a
clause.
3x4.
Damn.
He's got 4 million. He's terrible. He had the
Damn.
one or the 2 good seasons with the Islanders.
Yeah.
Took that to Detroit, played garbage there for a season or a season and a half, and then got traded to the Blues and taking that contract.
Wow.
I mean, that's my issue with that trade so much. It's not as much
Yeah.
I think Kevin Hayes is a terrible player. They've basically handicapped themselves now with long-term deals for a team that's not good enough to go far.
I agree.
While trading away O'Reilly, Tarasenko, for guys who I think could be good in Kapanen and Vrana, but like you don't know.
They're just trying to get younger, but
You really
spending
can't.
the
That's the
money where you
issue.
don't need to is just a turn off for me.
With a deal like that, you really can't get younger right now.
No, you can't.
You're banking on Kyrou, Thomas, Shen, and Buchnevich playing
Yeah.
great to get you somewhere, or any sort of goaltending doing anything. Mind you, oh yeah, hi Jordan Bennington, Mr. I make 6
Also
million a
making
year.
crazy money. Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know where they're going. Like I thought I knew where they were going after trading O'Reilly and Tarasenko, but I guess they're gonna wait another year or three. Who
And
knows?
look at their division. Look at their division. The Avs, who aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The
They're
Wild,
gonna be
who are
good.
not going anywhere anytime soon. The Stars, who have
Very
great players
good.
right now, and oh yeah, are going to be amazing in the future. And the Jets, who we'll see. Are they
Yeah.
really banking on being the A
Chicago
team?
getting Bedard.
They're still going to be a year or two away.
Yeah, but still in
I
that
mean, are they
time
banking
frame,
on next year making the playoffs with like the 7 or 8
there's
seed?
no way. There's no way.
It has to be. That's the only way I can look at it.
People that are going to try to replicate what Florida did are going to crash and fail.
That's the
Because
only way I
Florida
can look
should
at it.
not have made it. The only reason Florida made it is because Buddy Robinson decided to score 2 goals in a game that meant nothing and the Penguins missed it. That's the only reason why the Panthers made the playoffs.
Buddy Robinson, that's so funny.
Yeah. Like it's just
But
crazy.
that's the bit that bugs me so much is that I look like that's how I literally think they're taking it. You
Yeah.
look at that team, you look at the mindset, you look at that trade, that's literally screaming, we aren't bad enough to be a top 5 draft pick.
Yep.
We aren't good enough to really be a contender. our bet is make it.
We're gonna be mediocre.
We're gonna be mediocre or possibly just okay.
Yeah.
See if that's good enough to make an 8 or 7 seed and pray the magic happens.
Yeah.
That's like unless guys like Pareko and like Pareko Sod or you can't trade Hayes now. Like unless
No, you
guys like
can't.
Pareko, Sod, or even possibly Shen get traded, I really don't know what the plan is here.
I don't know what the plan is either. I guess they're gonna try to ride it and send more guys to the deadline. I don't know. I really don't. Especially with that little cap space, there's not really much you can do.
No. So unless I have to believe Pareko's getting traded this year.
Yeah, he has to be. He has to be. But it's just something we're gonna have to keep an eye on because like it's one of those things that like I don't think they can fix right away.
No.
I really don't. But
They can cap themselves.
the last piece of news for like the sign and trades is Jordan Stahl re-signed with Carolina
Yes, sir.
for surprising 4 years. I thought he was going to get like a 2 year, but very interesting. I think it's a good move for the Canes. Jordan Stahl's been very good for them for the last number of years. So I think he's going to end up being good for them as always. There's not really a whole lot to say about Jordan Stahl. He's been just a decent guy his whole career, but he was very good for the Penguins, very good for the Canes, like leader of that team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the Canes like take a step back or anything like that. Like they continue keeping on. Like they're going to be a good team. Like they're going to be up there with the Devils again next year, fighting for that first place spot in the Metro. So
I like how they handled it as well because after this next season, they got a lot of RFAs to sign.
yeah, they do.
And a guy like Jordan Stahl, he's still producing very well for them. You
Yeah.
got him on, honestly, I think a team friendly deal.
Oh yeah, he definitely took a team friendly deal.
Fun fact: I looked at the Canes roster. The only person they have extended long term besides Stahl is Kotkaniemi.
That's kind of surprising, actually.
Well, here's the thing: they have. I looked at it. They got about 21.5 million in cap.
Yeah.
If I were to guess, Nietzsche's, Aho, both getting extended,
Oh yeah, they're preparing for that.
and even Martinook,
Yeah,
maybe.
they are
Well, actually,
definitely
it might be
preparing
Seth
for that.
Jarvis. If I were to guess, I'm saying Jarvis, Nietzsche, and Aho are all getting
Yeah.
extensions potentially this offseason.
Well, the Hurricanes have $21 million in cap space, so
Yeah.
they're
They
gonna
can make
sign
some
their
good deals
guys.
here.
Yeah, they're gonna sign their
And they're
guys.
not really a team that usually lets a lot of their talent walk.
No, they're not. Like, I think Jesper Fast is gonna end up heading out. I think Paul Stastny is gonna end up heading out.
Dasty would be whatever.
Yeah. And like
The first one would hurt a little bit.
he did sign a pretty team friendly deal. He signed $2.9 million contract. So I think they're still gonna be who they are. I think they're still gonna be good. It's just a matter of retooling.
Yeah. And they're usually good at that. So
Yeah,
keep in
they have
mind,
good
keep an eye
goaltending
out for.
too.
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah,
got really good goaltending. I mean,
their defense
although
core.
actually, though, but they're going to lose. Anderson and Ronson are both UFAs.
I think they're gonna keep one of them. It's just one of those
They're going to
things where
keep
they
one of
gotta
them. I'm
decide.
guessing Freddie.
They're keeping Freddie. I think they keep him.
Ransom got hurt too many times,
Konchetkov and
which is just
Freddie. I
sad.
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
definitely are keeping Konchetkov and Freddie.
It's just slow looking at all this stuff
Yeah.
on our list. Now it's time. It's time for the elephant in the
Oh my
room.
God.
The elephant in the
It's
room.
time to talk about a topic that
First
I'm going to
real
be
topic
honest.
of first like broad topic of
Yeah,
broadish topic for
I'm
our
going to be
show.
honest. This, I don't know. I'm mad and disappointed at the same time. I don't really know how to project how I feel about this because to me, it's just, I don't see any good that came out of this. Um, So for those of you guys who don't know, the NHL decided at their board of governors meeting this year that the NHL will not be doing special warm-up jerseys for anything anymore. So this means no pride jerseys, no hockey fights cancer jerseys, no what else was there? There was
No
military
military.
appreciation night, there was autism awareness night. There was
Actors
just
for a
so
month,
many
I think
things.
there was one.
Yeah, unity, there was indigenous peoples night. There are so many things. And to me, like the main thing that bugs me about this was that these jerseys were made, they weren't made to be worn in games. They were made to be worn in the warm-ups and then auctioned off while the game was going on. And these jerseys made up a significant amount of money that went to these charities for these nights, which were the whole point of the nights. It was to celebrate unity, celebrate pride, celebrate military appreciation night, uh celebrate like people who
Everything.
are fighting cancer and cancer survivors. Like it's one of those things to where like this decision was made. I think that Gary Bettman had a good point when he talked about it, like that when people decided not, and this was a specifically a pride jersey issue with like 6 players not wanting to wear them or something like that. It was like in the range of 6 to 10. I don't
Yeah, I was trying
remember
to remember all the names
the
off the top of my
exact
head. There was
number.
Stalls,
Erica
uh,
Mark Stahl, James
James
Reimer,
Reimer,
Ivan
Provorov.
Provorov, uh, Podkolzin on the Canucks,
Hmm.
someone on the Blackhawks who wasn't named. But to me, it's just like I think it's the right move not doing any of them anymore. If you want to axe the pride ones, which I'm still vehemently against, I'm against like canceling all the jerseys in general and canceling the pride jerseys as well. Um, just because like there were so little players that wouldn't wear them. Like I think I would have just allowed them to not wear them and continue it because the main point of these jerseys was not only to like brighten up the cause and raise more awareness to like these issues, whether they were social or community issues, but they raise so much money for charity. Like to give you an idea, the Pride jerseys alone last year made $785,000. And that was just last year. That's not including this year. This year they were saying it was in the range of like 1 to 1.2 million dollars.
Jeez.
Like to give you an idea, I looked at the jersey that Sidney Crosby wore in warm-ups for the Penguins Pride Night, and it sold for like $20,000. It was crazy. Like to give you an idea, high-profile players, so like your Crosby, your McDavid, um, your Ovechkin, because Ovechkin wore it too. They would make significant amount of money with those jerseys. Like to me, it's just like the biggest loss in terms of these causes because like sure you can host these nights, you can like do all of these initiatives, but you're not going to be as effective in donating to the cause that you wanted to without them. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying, before anyone accuses me of saying these players have to wear these jerseys, I'm not saying they have to wear them. What
No,
I'm
you said it
saying
clear as you
is
don't.
I don't want like the opinions of the few to do something bad for a lot of people because it was only like 6 to 10 players. It wasn't the entire National Hockey League. It was six
Hmm.
players.
And you know what I think part of the problem is?
What's up?
I want to take it from a different angle here.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say is, I think an unpopular opinion. If he was gonna do it, I'm glad he did it like all the way
Yeah.
versus like, this is fine, but this is not.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm not. I'll always say I'm never a fan of double standards. So it's a way of doing it, and it's not. I don't think it's a horrible way. I don't think. I think he handled it well for the decision he decided to make.
Yeah.
I will say that, but What I will say is the issue here is that if this is something I just want to ask your opinion on.
Yes.
If this was done 10 years ago, with how different media has changed in the span of 10 years, you think it, like the few people who did it, who like didn't participate, you think that decision happens back then in like 2012?
I think the decision still happens. And back in 2012, like jerseys, like pride jerseys, would have never existed. It's been a relatively new thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess
to
the
me,
reason
where I think the
yeah,
NHL handled this wrong, and just teams in general handled this wrong, is if a guy didn't want to wear the jersey, don't let him talk. Like that's the thing, because my thing is the NHL labeled the players not wearing the jerseys as a distraction. And like while that has merit to it, I think part of it had to do with the social media teams and the media with the teams just highlighting why he didn't wear it all night. Like the players gave out one statement and all they did was he didn't wear this jersey for this reason or this reason or this reason. Like to me, it's just don't be like super loud about it. Don't make it like this big thing. Like, don't wear the jersey. Just politely decline. I don't think any of them were nasty about declining to
no,
wear them. But the thing is, you just don't really say anything about it and let the cause, like let the theme of the night play out, and you can answer questions about it after the game instead of like everyone focusing on he didn't wear it for religious reasons, he didn't wear it because he doesn't agree with it, he like it's one of those things that they could handle a lot better than they did, and I think that was the like
yeah.
large majority of the problem.
And I think the biggest problem, at least to me, with how all this is that it's all done because, at least I think, a lot of it's done through media pressure
Yeah.
from one way, from either side of the
Yeah.
spectrum here. Because I think the reason it got blown so out of proportion is because you would see like two or three different stories. You'd see every freaking news story. Like, literally even stories places like Forbes are talking about it. Why are you guys
Yeah.
talking about it? You don't what? Like,
Yeah.
and that's my problem. That's why I made the argument that
Mm,
I think that stays 10 years ago if they did that, if they were running that back then, because that whole, like, social media pressure is, like, a whole different topic back then
yeah.
versus now.
Yeah.
People are so almost borderline stupid obsessed
Yeah.
over, highlighting the negatives, and I think why? Because for anybody who's ever looked at news, negative sells.
Yeah.
No one
It
cares about the
does.
positives.
It
They're not gonna.
does.
Most people don't care about the positives. Most people aren't gonna look at the fact that, oh, they raised 785,000 or 1.2 million for charities of, for LGBTQ and for
Yeah.
Black History, for mental awareness, for cancer, for military. They don't care.
Yeah.
They'll see one or two people doing something that's different than everybody else, and they'll target them. They'll berate them, and this goes both sides of the
Oh
spectrums.
yeah, and like I'm not like have I said my opinion on why the players declined the jersey? Like do I agree with them? No. However, like with this whole thing, I think the best way to combat this, whether it's bigotry, whether it's ignorance, whether it's hatred, like you don't know the reason behind it. They all kind of hid behind the similar statement. They kind of chose a template and went with it, but you don't really know the true reason behind it. To me, like the best way to combat like the ignorance or bigotry is just keeping on, like whether they're on board or not, just keep on doing what you're doing. Like it's one of those things, like the thing with me is the point of the pride nights and the unity nights existing in general is because there's been an environment in the past, and I've been in hockey locker rooms where there's been an environment where people in the LGBT community or even the black community that don't feel like they belong. And that's like the biggest problem. And if you're a kid who hasn't come out to their parents yet, or a kid who is only seeing white players like on TV in the NHL, it's pretty discouraging. And that's like one of these things where like I don't really know how to solve it. I don't know how to go about it. To me, solving this issue is just keep doing what you're doing no matter what. If people aren't on board with it, that's their right. Like I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it's not their right. Um just to me, I think these teams could have done a much better job focusing on the point behind the night rather than the one or two players that didn't wear the jersey.
Yeah, it's at the fault of the teams, it's at the fault of the
Yeah.
league, it's on the fault of the media, but
Media
the
for
me
sure.
the media is never gonna that's my issue
Yeah.
here. I've talked about it with people in news and stuff like that, and, I've stated that in the negative sells because we all see things that make us, angry. How many people clicked on the James Reimer story? How many people clicked on the Ivan Provorov story? And
Yeah.
then, got mad and then took to Twitter or took to Facebook or wherever,
Yeah.
and just got mad about, not wearing the
Yeah.
jersey. But then, oh, the rest of the players wear the jersey, you know,
Yeah.
and I see it in like I see it in baseball. You know, so many teams blasted the Texas Rangers. They've never had a Pride night. Okay, that's their choice. So
Yeah.
many people blast the Dodgers for having the oh my god, I'm trying to remember the group, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I think that's their name.
Yeah.
At their game, that's their choice. You don't have to
Yeah.
go to that game. You don't have to go to that game. You can go to that game. You don't have to.
Yeah. Like it's your right to support what you want to. But like I think
It's,
I think a lot of where it gets lost is at the end of the day, these jerseys were meant for visibility and for charity.
yeah.
Like the most to me, I am the most disappointed in so many of the nights, like especially for the Hockey Fights Cancer one is
I went to
just
that night.
gutting. Yeah, it's gutting.
That one, I remember this so well. I don't know if you went to the hockey fights cancer night.
That was the Penguins and Leafs
Was
game.
that the Leafs one? Yeah,
Yeah, I was there.
you could attest to this. Everybody
Mhm.
got that purple, the purple, was it purple or
The
pink? I
purple
forget. I think it was purple.
LED.
The purple LED that you stick on your phone and you wave it up, and the entire stadium at PPG was purple. And it
Yeah,
was one of the most beautiful things I saw that night.
same with Pride Night. Everyone got a different color sticker to hold their flashlight up too. I was at that game too.
I didn't go to that one. I think
Yeah.
I had class I think I had class or something.
Yeah.
But I I remember that night, and I'm sure that other night was great. And you know, moments like that are at
Yeah.
least in my mind, what it means to be American, because it doesn't matter what you are, who you are.
Yeah.
We can all it's just one of these things where I'm a firm believer of two things. We can coexist together despite how different we are and agree to disagree. That's something
Yeah.
so many people lose nowadays. And it
Yeah.
bugs me so bad because everyone's like, if you're not doing it this way, then you're this, that, you're this, you're homophobic, or you just support, or or what, or you're this, or stuff like that. But
Yeah.
if you do it, then you're just gonna get attacked on the other side. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's
It's
just,
like the
it's sorry,
amount of
personal rant
stuff.
over.
Yeah. Because like the
Sorry.
amount of stuff I saw with players not wearing the jersey, it was one side berating the player for many reasons, and then it was the other side going, "Oh, he doesn't stand up for this. I'm gonna buy his jersey." And the reason why they're buying his jersey is because he didn't wear something that they were so vehemently against. Like it goes on both sides. And I'm like, guys, you're getting so lost in what this night was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like it's just a shame. Like
And
it's
at the
just
end
a
of the day,
shame.
it's not I don't really blame the players. I blame two things here. Well, actually, I blame three. I blame the NHL and the organizations for how it got handled. I blame the media for blowing it out of proportion the same way they do with a lot of things. And lastly, and truthfully, I blame the fans
I do a little bit. Yeah, I do a little bit. Like,
because the way
I
it's
blame a
handled,
little bit of everyone,
yeah,
even the players, a little bit.
I think I don't really blame the players because here's my reasoning, and we're gonna have probably different
Yeah,
opinions on this.
yeah.
The players have to go and answer to the
Oh
locker room,
yeah,
and I've talked and worked in locker rooms with certain people. They're gonna just keep asking you that question, keep bombarding you with it. It might even be days after the event
yeah.
until you give a response. It doesn't matter if it's social media. It doesn't matter if you do team press conference. It doesn't matter if it's right after the game.
Yes.
You will keep getting annoyed with something until they answer. And that's where journalism took a giant step back in my
Yeah.
mind because this didn't happen 3 or 4 years ago. This is
Oh
something that's
yeah,
happened the last year or
absolutely.
two. And it's a reason why it's a huge reason why I think, Gary Bettman made the decision he did, which I
Yeah.
understand, but it's a big mistake. And that's where my problem comes in. And it
Mhm.
frustrates me for someone who's loved and cared about media for his whole life.
Yeah. Because like to me, on a similar coin, like to me, where I place a little bit of fault on the players though was every time one of these nights happened, especially with Pride Month, they were the front and center of it before the game even started, before warmups were
Mm-hmm.
even taken. To me, it's the NHL's responsibility, the organization's responsibility to promote this night in a way it was meant to be held. And then
Yeah.
after the game, you let the player talk to the media. Like, skip all of the bullshit before the game. Don't let it take any of the spotlight before the game because all the spotlight is during warmups and before the national anthem. That's where most of the celebration happens. Let the game
Yeah.
play out, let the players play the game. Afterwards, talk to the player. That's where I think the league just completely fucked up this situation. Like
I
that's where
agree
I
with that
place a little bit
100%.
of fault on the players because you need to tell them stay the hell away from a microphone until after this game is over.
I'll
Like
give you
to me,
that. No,
that's
that's
where the
fair.
biggest fuck up was with this whole thing.
That's just a shame. You said it best versus about the NHL. Like
Yeah.
right now, it's the best it's ever been in terms of talent, but in terms of how things
Yeah.
get handled, if it's not the Fanatics' decision, it's it's the decision to work on ESPN. It's
Yeah.
this
Like I
having
just
one of your
don't
longest
know.
standing organizations be
Yeah.
exposed as frauds when it could have been handled 10 years ago. You know,
And like there's
it's all
just
these
so many
things.
things. There's so many things and just in general, I think they're taking multiple steps backwards. Even if it's not their fault cuz like I don't really know where to place the majority of the blame with this whole thing. Because
It's
at the end of the
everybody.
day, if you take a step back, at the end of the day, these charities and these groups of people are left without visibility and money that they need to exist. Because, like, when I'm sitting at that Pride game, I remember how happy a lot of my friends who went to that game were. People like made an effort. It was their first game of hockey that they watched specifically because it was a Pride night. Like there are going to be opportunities that are missed. Like those Unity nights, people are going to go to those games that otherwise would have. The Hockey Fights Cancer night, people aren't going to go to the games that they otherwise would have. Like
Yeah.
it's just a loss all around. And I think they will end up coming back around. I don't think you're going to see them for at least a decade.
That would be a mistake if it was a decade.
I think it's a decade. I don't think that just as a country, I don't think that in the climate we're in right now that we're ready. There's not enough, like, there's a lot of acceptance for it. There's more acceptance for it than there's ever been. Just right now, disagreement there's enough disagreement and ignorance that it's not ready yet. And if it's not ready yet, then you're going to have to promote it enough to where people are going to start warming up to it and being ready. or you're just going to have to go in full send where you don't care who doesn't wear it. You just keep doing it and raise the money for charity. Like, to me, those are the two avenues. Either wait until there's more acceptance or just put your head down and go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always a firm believer of the latter because
Yeah.
that's just how life is. Life doesn't
Yeah.
wait for people.
No, it doesn't. Like, to me, I'm more for the latter, that you just do it, and the players that don't want to do it, fine. The players that do want to do it, okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'll always say this, and you can quote this for me for the entirety of the length we ever do this show.
Mm-hmm.
Sports is entertainment, but at the end of the day, sport are a business.
Yeah.
And when you make business decisions like this, you choose who your target audience is in most places. Unless your name
Yep.
is like Disney, Nintendo, I don't know, like Verizon, things like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're stuff like that, or like Apple, that's the other one I was trying to remember. Like, unless you're those companies, you have a target audience, and it's your decision if you want to stick to it or expand it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people get older, that age changes and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and that market changes. So it just part of it's adapting with the times, and part of it's also just
Yeah.
knowing where to draw the line in the sand.
Oh yeah. I hope they come back. I really do. But
I would find it really hard to believe if it's a decade plus. I think they're gonna regret it they're gonna realize it, I think, within
oh yeah, because
I'm gonna say 2 years.
they're gonna host a Hockey Fights Cancer or Pride or Unity or Military Appreciation Night. And they're going to see that their donations go from like these 1.2 million to 785,000
Like
to like 10
300,000
grand.
or like 200,000. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's
going to
gonna drop
drop
a
like a
ton.
rock. It's going to
And I
drop like a
think that's why
rock.
that's where the real problem comes in. That's where you'll
Yeah.
notice that's why I'm not pressed to believe it's 10 years. It's going to be 2 or 3 because at
You
the end
just
of
got
the
to put your
day,
head down.
what matters at the end of the day for every sport, every business?
Money.
Money. And if
And the
something
NHL
like
doesn't
that,
make that much.
yeah, mind you, they're the same one league who's trying to raise the salary cap after it being flat for 3
Yep.
seasons.
Yep.
3, yeah,
Because like
3 seasons.
people can say all they want about the NBA and their social initiatives. Their salary cap has raised every single year since 2016. They're doing something right.
Yeah, my opinion on the
They
NBA.
are.
Long and
Their salary cap's going up and up
yeah,
and up and up.
they do
So
something with their business, but that's different.
they're doing
Their
something.
markets,
They're not
yeah, their
afraid
market's
to.
different, and
Yeah.
they handle things in a way that
Yeah.
I personally don't agree with, but
Yeah. But it's a blueprint that
it's
the
for everybody.
NHL should look at and be like, okay, what can we be doing better? They don't
Or
have to
even
copy
just
everything, but
the NFL or MLB for a degree.
yeah,
They've even done a lot of stuff right.
look at the MLS.
The
Up and
MLS,
coming
yeah,
league.
they're getting better every year.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the best football player in the world signed to play in America
Yeah.
for a
It's just
season.
one of those things, like, especially with the millennials and Gen Z coming up, getting out in the workforce, like getting ready to make some money, they got to make a decision on what's important, and they got to make it fast. I don't think they
Yeah.
have 10 years to make it,
They want, like I
but
said, I'm telling you right now, it will not be 10 years. If it
I
is,
hope not.
you're freaking Houdini.
Yeah. But with all that being said, since it's our last episode of Pride Month, like
yes,
even with that conversation, so I do have one final charity to highlight
yes, sir. Go
for this
ahead.
month. Ironically, it is a charity that is aligned with the NHL, that partnered with the NHL to make the Hockey is for Everyone initiative, which hopefully that still exists. And Also, Pride Tape, which players on my adult league team use every game. I myself use it on the top of my stick. So,
Oh, you meant the actual. Okay.
yeah, it's the
I don't know
actual
why.
hockey is for everyone. It's the you can play movement. So,
Okay.
their partners are Team USA, Team Canada, NASCAR, the CFL, National Women's Hockey
Wow.
League, NFL, NHL, MLS. I also think the NBA is on there as well. It's a very good initiative. So their mission is to ensure safety and inclusion for all who participate in sports, including LGBTQ plus athletes, coaches, and fans. They achieve this by creating a community of allies that is able to foster a true sense of belonging. So really what they're all about is visibility in sports, creating a good environment to ensure that even young kids growing up in the community that they belong. Very good initiative, especially in sport, because I still think there's a long way to go. If you guys want to support this charity, which I highly recommend, there will be a link in the description of the YouTube video and wherever you find your podcast. Feel free to check them out. We'll also give them a shout out on Twitter as well. So it's one of those things where there still is good in sports. It's just going to
100%.
take a while to get back. Well, the
And
jerseys at least to get it back.
there's always going to be, listen, if nothing else, you and me always going to have that positive mindset that
Oh yeah,
stuff like that happen. Like, stuff like that will always, the right decision will be made in the end.
and in the end, with all of this, the important thing to note is like while things like seem bleak right now, just remember, especially in the NHL, there were a lot more players that were supportive than were not. That's an encouraging thing. And I think it's happening throughout society in general. Like there are a lot more people that are accepting than not. And I think it's an encouraging thing. So I'm going to agree with you that it's not going to take it's not going to take 10 years. I think we're going to find a point where it's going to be something that happens. So anyways, that concludes our first episode of season 2 with a lot of NHL news. Some good, some not so
Bad.
great, but tomorrow is the NHL draft. I highly encourage you guys to tune in. Only to round 1. Don't watch rounds 2 through 7. Those aren't
I'm gonna
worth it.
watch I'm probably gonna watch the first 3 because I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Round 1 is tomorrow, 2 through 7 is Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, then never mind because I'm doubling on Thursday.
Shit. All
But
right.
yeah,
Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back next week with another edition. Take care. Have a good week. See you guys later.
peace.